Good evening, everyone. Just let me know if I'm audible.
Yes, madam, I can hear you.
Yes, okay. I'm just expecting a response from YouTube Live as well. Just a second. Right. So the voice is fine for YouTube as well. Okay. Let me know. You're all from BCA, all those who are attending.
Yes, madam, BCA only.
Okay. Right. So we have MCS-11 and MCS-201. For MCS-201 also, where they have both C programming as well as Python. The questions under C programming remain same. The important questions remain same. Only that uh, you'll have extra questions as well from Python. But overall, when you talk about important questions, it remains same. So let me take both MCS 201 and MCS 11 question papers. Hope you can see MCS 11 question paper is here. I have shared this in the WhatsApp group. Those who are watching in YouTube, in case you have not yet joined the groups, you can join the group. The link is mentioned in the description. You can join both Telegram channel and the WhatsApp group for PDF solutions of these things and other notes. Okay. So this exam is there for tomorrow. So your MCS 11 paper is going to be for 100 marks. And I'm sure you already know how the marks is allotted. 70%, 75% of this is taken for your final marks and 25% will be taken from your assignment score. So how much ever you score out of 100, 3/4 of it will be considered for your final marks card, grade card. Now, in this, 75 marks. So you have each question is, this is the latest question, December 2022. If you solve past 7 to 8 question papers, every year you have 2 question papers, one in June term end exam and the other one in December term end exam. In these 2 exams, every year there are 2 papers. So last 4 years paper if you study, so that makes it 8 papers. That should be more than sufficient to understand the overall format and to clear the exam. Many of you have texted me asking for a solution for a particular question, and they have asked me important topics. In certain subjects, we can discuss about important topics. Like tomorrow, we have after the 6th, we have discrete mathematics paper. For that, there are many important topics that you have to study. That I will share it with you in the WhatsApp group. But when it comes to programming, whether it is C programming or data structures, which is your MCS 21, I believe. And then you have MCS 21 is data structures, yes. And then you have Python programming, and then you have Java programming. In all these programming related subjects, it is very important to understand the overall concept. Only when you understand the overall concept, you will be able to answer the questions. And questions are slightly asked in different ways. It is not asked in exactly same format. It is always asked in a slightly various format for programming based questions. You can practice only previous year's question papers. For theory papers and especially maths, you will not get a single question out of your study material. But when it comes to programming questions, only study material is not sufficient. You need to understand the concept. So in my YouTube channel, I have mentioned here, I have mentioned, okay, do we have comments? Yeah, okay. So in the YouTube channel, I have a playlist which is specifically for C programming. Make sure you watch that playlist so that a concept is clear. So directly go for playlists in this. you have C programming video tutorial. So in this C programming video tutorial, you will have questions, topic-wise questions are present. So when it comes to data types and what are the difference between variables and constants, what are different types of data type, what are the rules for naming variables, all these things are covered in the second video. Types of programming languages, those things are covered in the first video. And then you have input output functions. Among input output functions, there are different formats. Completely it is explained in this third video. Each video is for half an hour to 1 hour duration. If you go through this, you will get answers for most of the questions that are asked in the previous year's question paper. Because when I go through the previous year question paper, I can see that every topic is asked in various ways and for different marks also in the previous year. So once they have asked only for 5 marks, once they have asked the same question for 10 marks. If a question is asked for 10 marks, you will have to elaborate each point with examples. According to marks, you have to answer the question. So for that, you need to basically understand the concept. See, in the switch statement, I have explained the similarity between switch statement and the ladder if else statement. What are the similarities between them? When a program can be written using either switch or ladder if else, there are certain situations where you can use only ladder if else. There are some situations where you can use only switch. All that I have explained in these concept based videos. And triangular pattern, I have seen that in each and every question paper, there is this triangular pattern based question. I have explained 2-3 different triangular patterns with one logic itself. You go through this to understand, you will get the complete code also, and you will know the procedure how to write. So in the same way, you can now write in the exam. So you have functions, recursion, arrays, two-dimensional arrays, and then structures and unions. Difference between structures and unions is a very, very frequently repeated question. Minimum and maximum number, one of you sent me message in WhatsApp asking for algorithm to find minimum and maximum number in a list. So the complete program is present here where I have explained the details. When you write it as an algorithm, make sure you're not using all those semicolon and all that. Just write step-by-step procedure that becomes an algorithm. So these are the basic things are explained in this playlist, which should be enough, more than sufficient for you to pass your exam with very good marks. Okay, coming to these questions, see here in the previous year in December 2022, the first question is write an algorithm to find highest and lowest marks obtained by students of batch size 10. So here you are supposed to create an array of 10 values. In that you're going to have marks of all the students. You need to find what is the highest and what is the least, which is same example that I just showed you, minimum and maximum in an array. So that thing you can, if you understand that this is a program to write, for the same thing, you can write algorithm and flowchart. Recursive program to find factorial of given number between 1 to 10. Okay, so these things are, this uses nested functions. Every program is slightly unique from the programs that are asked in the previous session, previous exams. Therefore, it is very important to understand how to write the code. And the third question is write a program to sort array of 10 elements in ascending order. So this is sorting. You can use any sorting technique. You have bubble sort, selection sort, and all that. This sorting technique video is actually present in my data structures playlist. It is not there in C programming playlist. It is there in data structures playlist. So go to that data structure playlist in which you can find bubble sort, selection sort. I think insertion sort is also there. Among these three, whichever is easy for you, you can learn that particular program. Difference between call by value and call by reference, I think I have explained in my functions video. And question about union and structure. Difference between structure and array or structure and union. Definitely there is a question based on this, and it is a very simple question where you don't have to actually write a program. Explain what it is and the difference between them. So very most frequently asked question. So make sure you learn that as well. Yes, now you can ask for any questions that you have, any particular doubts if you have, you can ask. Yes. Any questions? Procedure to study, I have told you. Apart from that, if you have found any question which is repeated but you don't know the answer for it, you can ask. No specific questions. One question related to printing program is always there. Okay. Printing triangle. This program will definitely be there. So make sure you learn this. Most of the questions are program-based questions only. So if you have learned programming well, you'll be able to write all these programs. And wherever they ask you algorithm, you have to just write it informally. That's it. Yes, let me know if you have any doubts. Some of you had sent some messages, I believe.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, could you please share these previous year question papers in the group?
I've already shared. Are you in the Telegram channel?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So kindly join the Telegram channel. I will share this right away in the WhatsApp group. And these things, what happens is in WhatsApp group, you can only access those resources that are shared after you have joined. Whereas in Telegram channel, all the previous
Yes.
files also you can access. For each of these question papers, I have shared it in the WhatsApp group. See, all these question papers I have shared in the WhatsApp group. Anyway, I'll share this again. You are taking MCS-11 or MCS-201?
Sorry, ma'am.
Which paper are you taking tomorrow? MCS-11 or 201? BC or MCS
11.
student? 11.
I'm
Okay.
from MCA. MC
MCA.
11. Yes. 211.
211. That is different, ma. That is Python programming, right? Are you MCA
Ma'am,
new syllabus or old syllabus?
I am from MCA-011. That is online learning.
Okay, so you have this programming in C. Tomorrow, do you have exam for that?
No, ma'am, I'm not sure about that. Like,
When is your C programming exam? Anyway, you just send me a
anything.
message to this number. Just make a note of this.
Okay, ma'am.
Send me a message to this number and give me the details, and these details I'll share it in the WhatsApp group. You're in IGNO, BCA, MCA, PGTCA WhatsApp group?
I need to check that because, ma'am, I was in.
How did you
Yes,
get
ma'am.
this link?
Yes, ma'am. I am in that group. Yes, IGNO, BCA, MCA, PGD. Yes.
Okay, I mean the WhatsApp group where I shared the Zoom link for this meeting. Are you in that group?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you can send the message to the number from which you received the Zoom link.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, I'll share the required resources. Yes, any specific questions in C programming?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Just now I joined. I missed some important points. Maybe.
Whatever you have missed, the same video has been live streamed in YouTube as well.
Okay.
Okay, so whatever the initial part you have missed, you can watch the video.
Okay, ma'am.
I've just told how much marks is allotted and how to what all topics you need to prepare.
Okay.
Okay. See, in case you have any specific doubts, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'll just tell you what is overall flow and what all topics you will have to study. So the first thing in C programming is the introduction topic. In this introduction to programming, you might get questions like, this is the first topic. You might get questions like types of programming languages. Like you have high-level programming languages, low-level programming languages, about the difference between assembler and what are assemblers. Basically, what are compilers? Okay. You have compilers, interpreters, About all this, I have explained in my first video, Introduction to Programming Language. In that first video, I have explained all this. Compilers, interpreters, assemblers, difference between each of them. All these are commonly called as translators. So these are commonly called as translators. This is a common name. In translators, you have these three types: assembler, interpreter, and compiler. So what is the explanation of each one of this? What is difference between compiler and interpreter? These are possible likely questions under programming. Again, this is not very important. Okay. Not very important, because the frequency of these questions and the number of questions that you get is very less from this. Maybe one question you might get in the entire question paper. So that one question can be from types of programming languages or between compilers and interpreters. Again, the question is not compulsory, like it is not occurring every semester paper. It is not occurring. You can just have a look at it if necessary. So next you have data types. Under data types, you will have to know what are primary and secondary data types. You have to know the classification of data types. Classification of data types, you have primary and secondary data types. Under primary data types, you have int. Okay, so you have primary and secondary data types. Under primary data types, you have int, char, int, float, and double. Char, int, float, double. Structure that was frequently repeated. Yeah, sure. So primary, char, int, float, double. Under secondary, you have arrays, pointers, structures, union, files. All these comes under secondary data types. Okay, so about details of each one of this, you will have to learn. So this is under data types classification. The number of bytes required for each of these data types also you have to learn. Again, not very frequently asked. You might get one question, one or two questions from this topic. Next comes your variables and constants. Under variables and constants, you might have questions like, what are the rules for naming variables? What is the difference between variables and constants? This kind of questions you might get. So naming conventions, also called as naming rules. Okay, naming conventions you might get. And then you will have difference between variables and constants kind of questions. And what is how to declare what is a constant, how to declare a constant, what is the difference between a variable and a constant, what happens if you try to assign a value to a constant. This kind of questions might occur under constants. So again, not too many questions cannot be asked from this topic, but one question definitely you will get under this topic, which is easy to answer as well. So make sure you learn about this. Plus, you have something called as access modifiers. Try to learn about that also. Modifiers are like short, long, signed, unsigned. What is the difference between unsigned int and normal int? This can also be a possible question. Again, among all these, you might get two questions, but don't ignore this part. See, if you are very good in programming, then focusing on just 2-3 units, you will be able to score above 80. But if you're not that good in programming, then make sure you are learning all the theoretical concepts. So all these things that we have discussed so far as important topics, all these comes under theoretical concepts. Okay. After this, you have input and output functions. Under input and output functions, you have printf, scanf. So this is important. You have printf, scanf, different ways of using it, and how to input string values and how to output string values. If it is character and float, different format of displaying float values. All these things are can be asked. This is quite an important topic. After that, you have operators and expressions. Operators and expressions. This is a topic after input and output functions. Here you might get classification of operators, or they might ask you what are the types of operators, which is a very important question. It can be asked for 5 marks, 6 marks, or sometimes 10 marks. If they're asking for 10 marks, then each and every type of the operator you have to explain with an example. If it is asked for 5 marks, then you don't have to explain. You can just mention the types of operators with one liner for each of the type. So under types of operators, you have 3 types. You have unary operator, binary operators, ternary operators. Some books gives you additional thing as special operators, or we can write shift operators. Okay, this is only in some textbook it will be mentioned like this. If you write the first 3, that is sufficient. Under unary, you have increment and decrement operator. Increment is plus plus and decrement operator is minus minus. Mention about pre-increment, post-increment, pre-decrement, post-decrement. Mention all those things. Okay, next. Under binary, you have arithmetic operator, relational operator. You have to mention that in that order only. Just kindly go through the video, you will understand. We have arithmetic operators. These are used to perform arithmetic operations, and write down all the arithmetic operators. You have plus, minus, star, slash, and the percentage modulus operator. You have to mention that modulus operator is used for remainder operation and can be used with integers only. So such types of additional points you will have to write if it is a 5-mark question. So arithmetic operators, then relational operators. Relational operators are less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to, double equal to, and not equal to. These are relational operators. And then you have logical operators. Logical operators are and, or, and not. After that, you have assignment operator. Assignment operator is equal to operator. In this further, you can divide into 2 categories. One is simple assignment operator, which is equal to, and then we have compound assignment operator, which is assignment operator combined with arithmetic operators. Plus equal to, minus equal to, star equal to, slash equal to, modulus equal to. So combining this assignment operator with each of these arithmetic operator becomes your compound assignment operator. This is simple assignment. This is compound assignment. All these come under binary operator. Ternary operator is also called as conditional operator, which is question mark and colon, where you can use it like an if-else statement. This is question mark and colon, that is ternary operator. Under special operators, you can mention comma, and then you have this you have comma operator, and then you have left shift, right shift, binary operators, dot operator is there, and then pointer. Structure to pointer is given as an arrow. These things you can mention if it is for 10 marks, otherwise not necessary. Okay, this is required only if the question is for 10 marks. Only if question is for 10 marks. Okay, if it's a 10-mark question, then include this also and explain about that as well. Otherwise, it is sufficient to write unary, binary, and ternary. If it is for 5 marks, write all these ones with all the operators. If it is for 8 marks or something, then write the operator with a one-liner and an example as well. So the marks will tell you the length of the answer, how much you have to write. This is about operators and expressions. Expression is an expression with arithmetic operator is called as an arithmetic expression. Now comes your most important part for your exam. So you have control statements. Almost half of your question paper is from this control statements only. So under control statements, you have 2 types. First one is branching statements. Branching statements. Under branching statements, you have, these are also called as conditional statements. Under branching statements, you have if else. In this, you have simple if else, ladder if else, and nested if else. Simple if else is one if block and one else block. Then you have ladder if else. Ladder if else is if some condition, then some set of statements, then else if another condition, some set of statements, again else if. That is ladder if else. And then you have nested if else. Nested if else is writing one if else inside if, another if else inside else. So like you have if some condition, else. Within this, if you write one more if else, this is nested if else. Okay. And within else also you can have that. Again, all these explanations with example, where to use which one I have explained in my videos. You can go through that. So this is about if else statements. And then you have switch statement. Switch statement has certain conditions, like you cannot use relational or logical expressions in those cases. It must be only integer or character constants. You cannot use variables there. It must be constants only. So such type of restrictions are there. For switch statement, you must go through all of that. It is quite important. After this, you have looping statements. So many questions are asked based on looping statement. Under loops, you have while loop. Difference between while and do while is an important question. And then you have for loop. You will get theory questions also from this, and you will get programs also. This one part is extremely important for you. You will get almost 40 to 50 marks from this 60 point only, where you have so many programs to write. So if you are good in programming, then make sure all the programs given over there you have to practice from the previous year's question papers. Here you will have questions like under programs. Here you will have questions like finding whether a given number is prime or not, displaying factorial of 1 to n. Not just factorial of a given number, that requires only one for loop. Factorial of 1 to n, which requires nested for loop. Factorial of 1 to n, then printing prime numbers from 1 to n, or checking whether a given number is prime or not, printing Fibonacci series. And then you have most important is printing triangle patterns. Okay, printing triangle patterns. Once you understand the basic logic for writing program for triangle patterns, very minute difference you have to make for getting different characters as a triangle. So there are triangles like you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is one type of right angle triangle where, okay, this is one type of right angle triangle where you're printing from the start. So this one, you have one in every line you're starting from 1, or maybe you can have like this 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, or you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So something like this. Everything, if you what you have to observe is the shape of the triangle. It is a right angle triangle, and the numbering starts from the beginning of the screen itself. For this, there is one pattern to write the program. Understand that. After that, you have inverted triangle, like you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, or you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, and 4, or 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. So all this is of one triangle, right? It is inverted right angle triangle. It can be asked like this, or you might have a equilateral triangle format, like you can have 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4. So this is an equilateral triangle where there is a space between the letters. So there is one proper format for typing all this type of triangles, and this one and this one. Here you have to give space before typing the next, going to the next line. Before you start displaying the values, you need to give space. So you need to have an additional loop in this one and in this one, that is inverted right angle triangle and the equilateral triangle. In both these cases, you need to have one extra loop inside the main for loop just to leave spaces. Remember that, and how to give the spaces you can understand, and accordingly a minor change will give you this different triangle pattern. It is extremely important. You will definitely get 2 questions of triangle type in your exam. So if else statements, switch and loops are extremely important. Don't skip that these topics at any cost. Once you understand the trick to write the code, you will be able to write it easily. So this is about control statements. Very important. After this, you have arrays. Under arrays, you will have to learn one-dimensional arrays. In one-dimensional arrays, you will get questions like what is an array, comparing it with the structures or advantages and disadvantages of arrays, properties of arrays. So if it is just about arrays, you will have to explain it completely, say how to what is an array, give a definition, how to declare an array, how the memory is allotted for that, and how to give values to it, and then how to display the values, how do you access them. Write one simple sample program for that. All this will give you 5-6 marks. And it is a straightforward question. You can take any type of example that you want. Again, these explanation is given in the video. Arrays I have explained completely. If you understand that same thing, if you write it as a summary, that becomes your 5 or 6 marker questions answer. When it comes to program, they can ask you to find minimum and maximum of an array. Minimum and maximum of an array can be a program based question. And then they might ask you sum of all elements of an array. Sum of all elements or product of all elements of an array can be asked as a question. Or they might ask you to reverse array elements. Reverse array elements. Or sorting array elements. Sorting array elements. These are the programming questions that you can get from one-dimensional array. And then you have two-dimensional arrays. Two-dimensional arrays are used to represent matrices, right? So you can get, again, here you will have the general question might be given. Along with that, when it comes to programming, they might ask you to add or subtract matrices. Add or subtract two matrices. And then multiplication of matrices is important. It is not simple as addition or subtraction. Here again, you will have an additional for loop inside the main loop. Multiplication of matrices. And I saw one program in which you are supposed to just display product of diagonal elements. See, diagonal elements are those where the I and j value are same. Suppose I have a square matrix of 3 cross 3. You know that array indexing starts from 0, right? Array index starts from 0 to n minus 1. So if you have flow chart for this question, yeah, sure. So if you have a 3 cross 3 matrix, then it will be row number 1, row number 0, row number 1, and row number 2. And columns also, column number 0, column number 1, and column number 2. So this 0, 0 element is a diagonal element. 1, 1 is diagonal element. This is 0th row, 0th column element. 0th row, 1th column, 0, 2. 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2. 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2. These are the indexes of the values, and this is your diagonal elements. So you will have to just multiply these three values. When I and j are equal, you have to multiply the values. Multiply ai with this one and then this one. This gives you the product of diagonal elements. That program I saw in one of the question papers. So these are the types of questions that you can get under two-dimensional arrays. Under two-dimensional arrays, make sure how the memory is allotted. We have something called as row major and column major allocation. You will definitely not get difference between these two as the question. That will be usually an interview question. Under C programming, it is always row major allocation only. So you have to know how the row major allocation is done, how the memory is allotted in case of a two-dimensional array and all that. This is again an important topic. This is your 7th topic. Next is your strings. I have seen what is a string and difference between an array and a string. Array versus strings difference I have seen. String handling functions you have to learn. Common string handling functions like string length, string copy, string concatenating, all these functions you have to learn. And some basic programs using strings. These things are important under strings. Not extremely important, but definitely there are at least 2 questions based on this strings. Next, you have functions, which are again important. You will have at least 2 questions from this, each of which will be like 1 5-mark and 1 10-mark question you can expect from functions. Understand what is a function, definition, syntax, what is function, what is the syntax for declaring a function, and then types of functions. These are questions that can be asked. And then they might ask you difference between call by value and call by reference comes under pointers, definition, syntax, types of functions, then passing arrays as function arguments. Passing arrays as function parameters, you might get a question. And very important question is between actual arguments and formal arguments. Means actual parameters and formal parameters. The difference between this will definitely be a very important, very frequently asked question. Make sure you go through that as well. Next is your pointers. Under pointers, I have seen what is a pointer, advantage and disadvantage of pointers are asked, and you will have to find out the difference between call by value and call by reference. Okay, call by value versus call by reference is an important question. And then you have swapping. There is a program swapping 2 values or swapping values of 2 variables using pointers. This is a possible question. Also, passing pointers as function parameters, what are the advantages of it? See, when you pass an array as a function parameter, so much of memory gets duplicated. But when you pass an array to a function using pointer, it is highly advantageous for 2 reasons. One is you are not creating a large amount of duplicate memory. And the other one is you can make changes with the original array itself if required. So these are the 2 advantages of passing arrays to functions through pointers. And that might be a very important question. You can just go through that. Then you have structures. Structures and unions. Under structures and unions, you can get difference between these two. Difference between structure and they can ask union or array. Difference between a structure and array, difference between structure and union. This can be a question. And then how do you, and very, very commonly I have seen this question wherein you need to write a program to read and display, details of 10 students, something like that. 10 students or 10 employees. This is a very, very commonly asked standard program. Go through this. It will be asked for 10 marks usually. How do you access structure elements using pointer? Then what happens when you try to assign a different value to a union variable? These all might be important questions. Then comes files. Files, you will have one question for sure, and they will usually ask you about file handling functions. File handling functions. Files are quite a vast topic. You can only learn whatever is asked in the previous year question paper. If you have not learned anything, then don't try to learn completely files now. If you have learned everything else, then of course you can try. But if you are still in the not completely prepared, then don't learn files now. You can only learn few questions like fopen, fclose, fscanf, then fprintf, and then you have fgetc, fputc, fgets, and fputs. This many functions you learn under files. If you have enough time, learn it completely. But if not, if you are pending with other topics itself, don't spend too much time on this. Just go through the main theoretical concepts of files which are asked in the previous year's question papers. Only that much you learn. You will definitely get a question, but at this stage, if you have still not completed your preparation, then it is not the time to practice this file question. You might get one basic program, basic file input output program you might get. Like they might ask you write a program to read contents from so and so file and display it on the monitor. So this kind of question you might get. So whatever file name they have given, you have to open it using fopen under read mode. And whatever data you read, you can use fscanf or fgetc or fgets to read the data from the file. And to print, since you're not printing on the file, you're printing on the monitor, you can give directly printf, not fprintf, only printf. Printf will display it on the standard output device, which is your monitor. Scanf will read from standard input device, which is the keyboard. Whereas fprintf prints it to a file, fscanf reads from a file. So when you're reading from a reading content from a file and displaying it on the monitor, so to read from a file, we use fscanf. To display on the monitor, we use a normal printf. So a basic file input output program you can practice. So here you go through three programs. One is reading from a file and writing to a monitor. Another one is reading from the keyboard, but storing it in a file. One more, reading from one file and writing it to another file. Okay, so both input output should be files. And in one example, input should be from a file, output is monitor. In the other one, input should be from the keyboard, output is in the file. So these three basic programs you can practice. For files, it's quite easy. One basic file input output, if you have time, you can go through that. Additional topics that you might get are about macros. And then you can get about enumerated data types and any preprocessors. You might get one question on this. I have seen one compulsory question on macros in each and every question paper. In enumerated data type and preprocessors are quite rare, but you have to definitely make sure that you are learning this control statements completely. That is all that branching statements and looping statements with all the possible programs. Arrays you must learn. Strings, if you can, you do it. Functions you have to. Structures with difference between unions, arrays, a basic program, all this you must learn. Okay, these are all, that's why one of you asked me for important topics. In programming language, everything is important. I could not tell you one specific important topic. This is the reason. All these things are the possible questions to be asked. So based on your learning level right now, whatever you have learned, accordingly, you decide on which topics you should be focusing. Okay, now we have a flow chart for this question. Snehal has said to provide flow chart for this question. Which question? Snehal is in the meeting. No, I think Snehal is attending live. If you are attending live, kindly tell me for which one you need. Here again, some of you have asked for some questions, right? Union and structure. Provide answer for difference between union and structure is what you're asking, Swapna?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So these are all important topics. Next, difference between union and structure. Okay, those who are watching in YouTube live, if you have any questions related to C programming, you can put it in the comments. I am reading the comments as well. And those who are attending live Zoom class can put it in the chat, or you can unmute and ask also. Okay, so difference between structure and unions. You know what is a structure? A structure is collection of elements of different types, right? It's a collection of elements of different data types. Of different data type. Now, what is the difference between array and structure? First question in December 2023, 2022. 2023 is next exam. 2022 is what I believe. Algorithm to find highest and lowest marks obtained by students of batch of size 10 and flowchart. See, okay, let me complete this and then I'll tell you about that. What is an array? It is a collection of elements of the same type. Structure is collection of elements of different data type. When to use which one? Suppose you are storing marks of 5 different subjects. All are of the same data type, right? There we will use an array. Suppose you're storing a name, then in a name you have collection of characters. There you will declare an array. When you are storing details which are of different type in nature, that is, suppose you're storing a student details. Okay, to store a student details, what all information you need to store? You need to have the registration number of the student, which is going to be an int. Registration number you need, then you need name of the student, and then you need what program they are studying and how much fees they have paid, which semester they are studying now, and then you need a list of marks to be stored, marks of 5 or 6 subjects, and then you're also going to store their average or percentage. Now each one of this is of different type. Registration number can be int or it can be character as well. You can have a alphanumeric registration number. If it's just numerical, it is going to be int. Name is going to be a character type. Character name 20 I'll give. So this is a character array. And then program is also going to be a character array. Maybe I'll give 20 as a size. Fees, let me take it as a float value. And then semester is going to be int. It's going to be 6 semesters or 8 semester. Marks, we are going to have integer marks, but for 6 subjects. So this is an integer array. And then average is going to be float type. So here about student, we are storing so many information in this. Each one is of different data type. So to store all this as one collection, we are going to use a structure. Now, how to declare this? To declare a structure, we use struct keyword. We give a name for the structure, say student, and within flower brackets, we are going to mention all these things. and a semicolon. Now, all these constitutes one student information. Here, this is a user-defined data type. A structure is a user-defined data type. Here, I give the name for the data type, and I tell what all information should be present within this data type. Now, data type name is struct student. Okay, this completely is a data type name. Now I can create. So what we have done over here, this is definition of structure. Okay, this is structure definition. Now structure is a user defined data type, and I have stored all the contents, whatever needs to be stored about a structure. I have given all this. I have defined a new data type now. Now to use this, I need to declare variables. When I declare variable, how to declare variable? Suppose you are declaring a variable int a comma b. A and b are of int type, right? 2 bytes of memory is allotted for each of these variables. Now, if you are declaring variable for a structure, you are going to define like this: struct student S1, S2. Now, this is a data type name. These are the variables of structure type. Now, how many bytes will be allotted for this structure, for this S1 and S2? It is the sum of all these variables that you have created. Okay, observe carefully. Every point you need to observe carefully. Then we will discuss difference between structure and unions. For each of this point, there is a difference in union. Okay. So here, what is the total size? Int registration number, again, we are assuming that it is a 32-bit compiler. I'm not sure if you know about this. In a 32-bit compiler like Turbo C, Borland C, okay, in a 32-bit compiler, if you are using, then char requires 1 byte, and then int requires 2 bytes, float requires 4 bytes, and double requires 8 bytes, right? If you are using a 64-bit compiler, that is in my system, I have code blocks. If you're using Visual Studio Code, code blocks, or Dev C++. So the latest compilers, if you're using, they're all 64-bit compilers in which char itself requires 2 bytes, int requires 4 bytes, float requires 8 bytes, and double requires 16 bytes. Everything requires double the amount of memory. Now, I will assume we will follow all these discussions with reference to 32-bit compiler. So assuming we are working on a 32-bit compiler, how much memory is required for each of this? Int registration number. This is int. So 2 bytes are required. Character requires 1 byte. It is an array of 20 characters. So it requires 20 bytes. Program, again, character of 20 characters, so 20 bytes. This is float, requires 4 bytes. This is int, so 2 bytes. This is int, but with 6 elements, so 6 into 2, 12 bytes. Float average, again, 4 bytes. So what is this total? 42, and then 46, 48, 64. Correct me if I'm wrong. So here, totally 64 bytes of information we are storing. So for each of this S1 and S2, 64 bytes will be allotted. Okay. In this 64 bytes, first 2 bytes are for registration number. Next 20 bytes are for name. That makes 20 bytes of a program. That next 4 bytes is for fees. So in that order only memory will be allotted. Whenever you declare every student variable, it is going to allot 64 bytes because that is what I have defined. When you define a student variable in your program, if you have given less or more according to the variables that you have given here, memory will be allotted. Is this clear, everybody? Structure, complete details?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Now 64 bits of memory will be allotted for S1. So this S1 will have 64 bytes of memory, in which first 2 bytes is for registration number, next 20 bytes is for name, next 20 bytes is for program. Now suppose I don't give marks. Fees, I'm not giving anything. Okay, fees is 4 bytes. I'm not entering anything in fees. So registration number, name and program, I'm entering something. Fees and semester, I'm not entering anything. Again, marks is an array of 6 elements. Marks array of 6 is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here I'm entering some values. Now, for each and every variable, memory is specifically allotted. Understood? Each variable has designated memory for it. No other variable can occupy this memory area. In this S164 bytes, we have clearly allotted memory for each of these variables. If you are assigning values to only some of the variables, but for other variables you're not assigning, then still memory is allotted. Those are empty. It will value get stored later in your program. So this is about completely about structures. How do you access members of structure? S1 is the structure name. These are the members. You will access it using dot operator. S1 dot registration number. S1 dot fees. If you have an array, then you will access it as S1 dot marks 0, marks 1. So like this, you will access the array, structure elements. This is complete information about structure. Now coming to union. When you talk about union, union is also a user-defined data type. It is also a collection of elements of different data type to define. This is definition of a student. Definition of a union is also done in the same way. Instead of struct student, you will use union student. U is lowercase only. Okay, union student. This is definition of union. So again, overall size is same, right? Overall elements what we have given, the format of declaring a union is very similar to a structure. Now, how do you assign a variable? How do you create variable? Same way. Instead of struct, you're going to give union. Now, these are all the similarities. What is a similarity? It is also a user-defined data type. It is also a collection of elements of different data types. Union. The way you declare, the way you define a union is very similar to the way you define a structure. Only difference is you're using union keyword instead of struct keyword. Now, how you declare a variable for a union is also similar to how you declare it for a structure. All these are similarities. Now, what is the difference? Size of a union is not equal to the total size. Size of the union is equal to, you can make a note of it, size of a union variable. Size of a union variable is equal to largest size of the variables. Size of the largest variable. So here in this particular definition, what is the largest one? I mean, which of these variables takes the most of memory?
Float. Sorry, double.
No, don't look at the data types. Look at the variables and tell me which of this, in this one, which of this takes more memory? Not the data types I'm asking about the variables, because see here, character requires 1 byte only, but it is a character array of 20 elements. So this requires 20 bytes. That's what I'm asking. Which one of this takes maximum value?
20.
20 bytes is a maximum one, which is for
Yeah.
these two, right? This
Yes,
is
ma'am.
maximum. All others are 2, 4. This one is 12. Now, maximum is 20 bytes. So, memory allotted, size of a union variable is equal to size of the largest variable. So, for this S1 and S2, it won't allow 64 bytes. It will allow only 20 bytes. It will allot only 20 bytes. This is the first difference. Structure variable size is equal to sum of sizes of all the variables, not the data types. Sum of sizes of all the variables is the size of the structure. Whereas for a union, the size or the memory allotted is equal to the size of the largest variable in the definition. Now, that is the first difference. Second difference is, I told you when I declare a structure variable, 64 bytes is allotted. In this 64 bytes, the memory is specially allocated for each and every variable that you have given in this definition in that same order. So the first 2 bytes was for registration number, next 20 bytes was for name. So in the same order, memory is specially allotted for each one of the variables separately. There is no overlapping created here. Whereas for a union, suppose I have created a union variable of U1, it will get allotted only 20 bytes. And this 20 bytes is not designated into different variables. This is called as a shared area, shared memory. We do not have separately allotted memory for each of the variable. This memory itself is the shared memory for all the variables within a union. Then how do we store all the values? So basically, union is not used to store all the details of a student. To store all the details of a student, we use structure only. We will use union only when we are processing the structure elements. For example, I want to display, I have some 100 students details. I want to display details of that particular student whose marks is highest. Now, or I want to calculate only average marks. Now, in this case, when I want to find out only average marks and then display the student's name in a specific order, or if I have to sort the elements according to union, according to this average marks, whoever has scored highest average, their name should come first because they are in rank number 1. The next highest is in rank number 2. So basically I'm sorting it. So when we are comparing 2 different values, instead of creating a copy of this entire 64 bytes, what we do is we'll create a union. When we create union, we can access only one variable at a time. Okay, only one variable at a time can be accessed. That one variable is going to use this memory area. Since this is a memory of required for the largest variable, any variable if you want to store, the memory will be sufficient. Do you want to store only registration number? Yes, fine. It requires only 2 bytes, but we have 20 bytes available. You can store that value here. Now, suppose you store some other value over there, then the previous value is overwritten. It is lost. Now, the other variable will have access for it. You will not have access to the previous variable. Understood? So suppose you create this union, whatever I have written earlier, you have union student, and then you have all these details. Now you are creating U1 is a variable, union student U1. This is a variable of type union. Now what is the memory allotted for this? 20 bytes. Assuming I have this same definition here, I just don't want to scroll it again and again. Suppose this entire information is present here. The memory allotted is 20 bytes. Now suppose I give U1 dot average is equal to 78.5. Then I can only use this U1. I mean, I can only use this average. So I can say printf percentage 0.2f is the average of. So something like that I can give and then mention this U1 dot average value. It gets displayed. Suppose if I change this value now, U1 dot, what are the values we have? Registration number is equal to 25. Then then only I can print the registration number. Registration number is equal to percentage D, which is U1 dot reg. Now, why do we have to do like this? Is because, as I told you, you have a structure array with 100 students details. Now you want to take one by one students details according to a particular value, you need to compare. Only if the value is greater than so and so, you want to display. Otherwise, no. In that case, you don't want to copy the entire information. You will copy only one information. If it is greater than a particular value, then you go to that structure value and you display that. Is that clear, everybody? So union is used to access only one element at a time. This is used for saving memory when you're processing structured data. Suppose you give these two here itself. First, you give UN dot average is equal to 78.5. Then you give UN dot registration is equal to 25. Now, if you print these two instructions, this will give 0 as the result because UN dot average was assigned as 78.5. After that, you have given value to another variable. When you give value to another variable, that shared memory area, average variable was given access to that shared memory area. When you assign a value to another variable, now that shared memory is the access is given to reg variable, not the average variable. Understood? So this one is lost. This value is lost and this value is overwritten upon that. And now this is called as registration. So if you give two printf statements together, this will give 0 because there is no average variable now in that area because that is overwritten now by this one. And this will give you 25 as an answer. This is the difference between structure and union.
Madam, one
Okay.
small clarification.
Yeah.
Then in that case, see, every variable is getting replaced with a fresh one. Okay.
Hmm.
So then what is the meaning of union is being defined as for
Meaning
this?
of those words, that is how they are designed and we are using it. These are the keywords, right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
These are the keywords, we are going to use them. Of course, as you said, union is where you are combining everything. Here it is like only one is having access at a time. It actually is not meaningful to give that keyword, but that's how it is given. We need to know how to use it and when to use it.
Okay. Okay. It is already laid down process. Okay.
It's,
Laid down
yeah. Dennis M.
Okay.
Ritchie has done it, so we need to question him.
No. We have to follow. Okay, madam. Thank you.
Yeah. So when you have to store all the student details, you don't have option. You have to use structure only. But when you're processing all the structure elements one by one, instead of creating so much of duplicate elements, you will use unions so that only one element at a time you can access. So that will help you in reducing the memory that is occupied. Also, it will help you in reducing the processing time. If you're copying that entire structure, you will have to, copy that entire 64 bytes. Now what you're doing, if you need only registration number, then only that 2 bytes is what you're copying for each and every structure element. You're not copying the entire 64 bytes of data. So that is the advantage of using union. Otherwise, for data storage, you cannot use union. Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Means we can use structure and union both at a time, but union will access the every element of means one element of the structure.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Correct. Okay. Next, many of you are asking about flowchart and algorithm. Understand how to write a once you know a program, you should know how to write a algorithm for that. Algorithm is step-by-step procedure. Again, this is a very, very common question. I forgot to include this in that important questions list. Algorithm and flowchart is difference between this or just explanation about algorithm. What is an algorithm? What is the significance of it? What are the advantages and disadvantages of it? What are the steps to write an algorithm? Again, same type of questions for flowchart. This is very commonly asked and it's quite important. Don't ignore it because it's quite easy. So what is algorithm is? It is a step-by-step procedure for solving a problem. Step-by-step procedure to solve a given problem. The same thing, if you are representing diagrammatically, pictorial or diagrammatic representation of an algorithm is a flowchart of an algorithm. This is flowchart. So you should write this definition of a flowchart only if you are writing about both algorithm and flowchart in the same question. Otherwise, if you're writing only flowchart answer, then you write the pictorial representation of step-by-step procedure to solve a given problem. Now, what are the advantages of algorithm is program independent. Now, doesn't matter which programming language you're using. It just gives you procedure. It just gives you idea, process flow, how to solve a given problem. So after you are thorough with the algorithm, that algorithm you can either convert it to a C program or Python or Java, doesn't matter. So algorithm just gives you step-by-step procedure. It's just the idea. Flowchart is a diagrammatic representation of that. Suppose you want to find out minimum and maximum element. So that's what Snehal has been asking. So minimum and maximum element in an array. So for this, what you have to basically do, first understand what is a procedure. You have a list of elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3. 5, 6, 7. So we have 8 elements here. Let me take this array as A. We have 8 elements and I will enter some random numbers here. 25, 20, 15, 18, 38, 40, 30 and 32. Okay, these are the elements now. So to find out the least and highest of this, we will have to take one element, assume that as the least and highest, and then keep comparing with all the elements to the right. Whenever you find a lesser element, change it. And whenever you find a greater element, change the respective variable. First, we will find out how to find the maximum element in this. I will take a variable called max. I will assign the first element. What is there at 0 position, which is the first element, I will assign that to max. I'm assuming this is a maximum number. Now, what I will do is I will start from the next value. I equals to 0, I'll not take. I'll take from I equals to 1. Because this I have assumed that this is a greatest one. Now I need to check to the right of it all the elements. Is there any other number which is greater than this? If yes, that will be the maximum number. If no, just check the next number, right? So I have to start from the next element. So start from I equals to 1 up to I less than n. In this case, you can take I less than 8. I plus plus. You have to check whether the element at position I, is this greater than the number that I have assumed as maximum? Okay, max I have taken 25, right? Right now, 25 is there in max. Max has the value in A0, which is 25. Now I is 1. I will check in A1. Do I have a number greater than max? If yes, I will copy this one to maximum number. Otherwise, here I will assign AI value to max. Nothing else to be done. If it is not greater, we'll just move on to the next element. Here when I is 1, is this 20 greater than 25? No. So this will not be executed. We just increment I. I becomes 2. Is 2 less than 8? Yes. Here I'll take 8. Is 2 less than 8? Yes. So we come here at A2. Do I have a number greater than max? No. Again, A gets incremented. At A3, do I have number greater than this max? No. Again, I becomes 4. At A4, do I have a number greater than max? Yes. So this will be executed. What is it? AI is copied to max. So here now we will override this with 38. Next, I becomes incremented. I becomes 5. 5 is less than 8. True. At A5, do I have a number greater than max? Right now, max has 30. And at A5, I have a number which is still greater than max. So that is copied here, 40. Now, again, I is incremented. It goes to 6 and 7. The value is not greater than 40. So when I come out of the loop, max variable has the maximum element. Understood? No, I assumed the first element as the maximum element. From the second element onwards until the last element, I checked every element with this maximum one. If I find a number greater than my so-called maximum number, I'm interchanging it. Otherwise, we just proceed to the next number and check until the end. So when I come out of the loop, max variable has the highest number. Is this clear, everybody?
Yes,
Got it, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, same thing has to be done for minimum also. What we have to do, if this is supposed to be minimum, then I will assume this as minimum, and instead of this greater, I will take it as lesser, right? That's all. This will give me this. When we come out of the loop, this will give me the answer for minimum. Now, in a question, if you have to find both, okay, in a question, if you have to find both, give both. Max is A0. Min also, I'm assuming it as A0. I'll write one loop, one condition to find out maximum value. If AI is greater than maximum, assign AI to max. And then it's not else if. We have to check for every element. If AI is less than minimum, assign AI to minimum. Don't give else if here. We have to check both. Now, when we come out of this loop, max will have maximum value, min will have minimum value in the same loop. Now, once you have understood the program, basically we are doing the reverse thing. We're supposed to write the algorithm first and then write the program. I will share all these programs with you. So I actually don't have algorithms available. I have programs available. I'll share all the programs with you. Practice the programs. If they ask you to write algorithm for any given program, you will have to just write step-by-step procedure. This is the logic for the algorithm. I mean, for just that finding maximum and minimum element. And you know how to, you have to assign or declare all these variables, ask the user to enter 10 values, read all that using a scanf statement and a for loop, then write this loop for finding the biggest and smallest number. Then you have to use printf statement to display whatever you have found, which is a maximum and minimum, you have to display. This is just the logic for finding maximum and minimum element. Now, once you know the program, converting to algorithm is very easy. So for algorithm, you have to write step 1, step 2. That way you have to write. Okay, write step 1 is start. Don't write just 1. You shouldn't write just 1. You must write that word step also. It is very, very mandatory. Definitely carries marks. If you're writing algorithm, write step 1 should be start. Last step should be stop. Okay, step 2. Declare variables. Declare variables, write down list of variables, whatever is required, array of 10 elements. Then you need I, you need min, max, and then you need n to know the number of values. No semicolon, no brackets, nothing. So then you write step 3. Read n. This is to find how many values the user wants to enter. After that, write step 4. Read values of array from A0 to AN-1. Again, there is no specific rules that you have to write the statement like this only. You can just write read n values for array. That way also you can write. Next is step 5. Assign min. We usually write, we don't use equal to sign. We write like this. That is A0 value assigned to minimum and A0 value assigned to maximum also. This is step 5. Next is step 6. From or take I equals to 1. Okay, take I equals to 1. If I less than 8, or in this case n, if I less than n, check. You can write if or check. Check A0 greater than max. You can write if true, then we are assigning that to max. Next is step 7. Here you write if I less than n, that will not change anyways. If I less than n, check A 0 less than minimum. If true, the statement, write it again. If true, minimum is A0. Okay. Next is step 8. Increment I by 1. Okay, don't write I plus plus. You can write I equals to I plus 1. I plus 1 value you're storing to I. Now, if I is less than N, go to step 6. So whenever you're writing loops in algorithm, this is how you need to write. So whatever is your condition, you write it as normal steps. And that final condition step will be one step over here. So you're incrementing I and then checking what is the value of I. If it is less than N, then you go to step 6 and you're repeating this. Again, step 6, step 7, you come to step 8, you increment I, you check this, and again you go to step 6. Understood? This creates the loop. Else, go to step 9. Okay, the next step is step 9, right? Now, step 9, print max and min, or you can write display max min. So the words that you use is not very important. You can write print max min, print display max min, or you can write output max min. So, but don't write complete statements. Don't write full sentences. Your algorithm should look like this. After printing, nothing else, right? Step 10 is stop. Understood how to write an algorithm for any given program? Make sure you have step 1 as start, last one is stop, declare all the required variables, read all the input values one by one, and then you use this, go to step 6, go to step 9 to mention the loop conditions. Understood this one?
Clear.
Any questions?
No.
No, ma'am, understood.
Snehal is there. I don't know if she's attending live session yet. Okay, even if not, you can watch it later. Then flow chart. When it comes to flow chart, you have the symbols to use. In flow chart, you will write for loops, you will write an arrow back to the original one. So start and stop is always written with a oval rectangle, right? This is an oval. And then all the input and output, you have to write a rectangle. All the other processing instructions must be in parallelogram. Have I given the reverse? Just check. I'm not sure whether I forgot.
Yes, ma'am. Input and output, it is parallelogram.
Correct, madam. Whatever symbols you have given. Correct.
Is that input output is in parallelogram, processing is in rectangle.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's the reverse. Okay, input output is in parallelogram, processing is in rectangle. Starting and ending will be in oval, and all the conditions you have to mention it in rhombus. Now start, after this you have the algorithm, declare variables. This declaration, declaration is not necessary. You have to write reading, calculation, and displaying. Read n, right? So that is a input instruction. So write a parallelogram, read n. Next is read values of array. So here you have to write read n values. Now you check. Now you assign that values. Min equals to A0, max equals to A0. Here in flowchart, whether you write equal to or this arrow doesn't matter. This is a processing instruction, assigning values, calculation, all that can be put in rectangles. After this, you have to write the for loop. Here, you write the decision structure you write. And then here you also write I equals to 1. Is I less than n? If yes, you have to do it in one step. If yes, then you write the processing instruction. In this processing instruction, you have to write all that if-else statement and all. You just write both of them. You have two if-else statement here. For one if-else, this is not processing basically. You have two if-else. In one, you check whether A0 is greater than max. If yes, max is A0. Otherwise, you have to go to the next one. So here it is not else. In both the cases, in either cases, you have to go to the next statement. If I is less than n, then you check if A0 is greater than max. Okay. If this is also S, then you assign max to A0. If it is no, then you come directly to this statement where you anyways check the next condition. Understand, this is not if else. Whether this is true or not, you are going to check the next condition as well. So A0 less than minimum. If it is yes, you will assign A0 to max and then check the next condition. If it is no, you will not do this and then check the next condition. Make sure there is a rule in flowchart. You should not write two arrows like this directly to a symbol. For any pictorial symbol over here, there should be only one arrow. So write this arrow and connect it to this one. So your path to this one should be only one arrow. Okay. And now if this is true, then the instruction is min equals to A0. This is if it is yes. Now, whether it is, if it is yes, you are assigning this. If it is no, you directly go to the next step. And in both the cases, you are going to increment I is equal to I plus 1, right? Now this, our loop is over. After this, we go to the previous step. We will check whether I is less than n. Clear? From this step, we go to the next step to see whether I is less than n. If yes, we do all these things. If no, if I is not less than n, then we come to the last step. What is the last step? Display. Since it is output, we write it in parallelogram. Output or print min and max. Then we have stop. This is flowchart. You have to just understand the overall procedure. Once you know the procedure, you can write algorithm and flowchart. All this. For all this, you need to know the procedure to solve. Whether it is complete program, whether it is algorithm or flowchart, this is the, you need to know the logic of solving that particular problem. Understood this, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will share a list of programs in the WhatsApp group. I'll share one PDF, which will have very commonly asked important program solutions will be there. Understand the program logic. Once you understand the logic, you can either algorithm or flowchart, you can write it easily. Okay, go through all this, study well, all the best for your exams. For other papers, if you have any specific doubts, you can take a picture of the question and send it to me in WhatsApp. I will conduct such live doubt clarification session. I will try to conduct 2 days before the exam. So you will be having enough time to study for the next exam. Now, tomorrow is your exam, right? Tomorrow afternoon. I'll try to conduct 2-3 days before so that you will have enough time. Make sure when you are practicing, whatever doubts you have, you just put it in the WhatsApp group. Those things I'm going to solve it in the live session. If it's a simple question, I'll reply in WhatsApp itself. If it is a concept which needs some explanation, I'll explain in the live video. Okay, all the best for your exam.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.